The factory building is a factor which is the most important consideration for every industrial enterprise. The type of product that is to be manufactured determines column spacing, type of floor, ceiling, heating, and air conditioning. The maintenance cost resulting from the vibration of machinery is reduced considerably because of the housing of the machinery on the ground. Hello everyone, I'm Purnima, faculty in the Department of Commerce and Management, Vidyashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. I welcome you all to this session. In this session 2 of Unit 2, we will be having a discussion on the physical facilities in an organization. So in the previous session, we had a discussion on the plant layout and also the plant location. How do we choose the plant location and how do we design the layout? We also have discussed about the various types of layouts which are in existence. And in this session, we will be having a discussion on the physical facilities in an organization. Now, the following are the most important physical facilities to be organized. So, what are the various facilities which we need to design in the case of a plant layout or in a factory layout? There are certain physical facilities. So what are they? Now, the first one is the factory building. So, we need to have a proper factory building. Second and the most important one is the lighting. So, it should be well lit. Third one is the climatic conditions. The fourth one is ventilation. Fifth one is work-related welfare facilities. Now, these are the various physical facilities in an organization. Now, coming to the first one, the factory building. The factory building is a factor which is the most important consideration for every industrial enterprise. So, for every industrial enterprise, we need a factory building. A modern factory building is required to provide protection for men, machines, materials, products, or even the company secrets. So, a building is provided because it provides shelter for men, materials, and the machines, etc. So, for all this, in order to provide shelter for all this, we need to have a factory building. It has to serve as a part of the production facilities and as a factor to maximize economy and efficiency in plant operations. So, it has to serve as a part of the production facility and as a factor to maximize economy and efficiency in plant operations. So, whenever we are operating or when we are working in the factory layout or in the factory, it should provide maximum economy and also efficiency in operations. So, we should try to see that there is minimum movement of men and materials within the plant factory. So, if we can reduce the movement of materials and men, we will be saving on the material handling cost and also the time and also the various confusions which will arise when there is a zigzag movement of men and material in the factory layout. So, it should offer a pleasant and comfortable working environment and project the management's image and prestige. So, the factory layout should be designed in such a way that it is comfortable and it should be more pleasurable to work in. So, if the working conditions are very, very suitable for work, then workers will be stress-free and they will work with more diligence and with more efficiency. But then, if the working conditions are not good, workers may not find it favorable to work in such an environment. So, it should be such that it should protect the management's image and prestige. So, depending on the kind of work environment the management is providing, so it will reflect on the image of the management and also the prestige of the management. Factory building is like skin and bones of a living body of an organization. So, just like human body is made up of the skin and bones, the same way the factory building also, it is the main factor for the success of any organization. It is for these reasons the factory building acquires great importance. The following factors are considered for an industrial building. So, in order to have an industrial building, there are two factors which we should consider. First is the design of the building. Second one is the types of building. So let us see what do we mean by design of the building. The building should be designed so as to provide a number of facilities such as lunch rooms, cafeteria, locker rooms, creches, libraries, first aid and ambulance rooms, material handling facilities, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, etc. So, when the design of the building, so it should include, there are so many provisions whenever we are finding so many employees who are working under the same roof, we should make some provisions for their stay there. So, what are the various facilities which we should provide here? So, the first one is the lunch room. So, the workers will be spending almost 9 to 10 hours in the factory building, and therefore it is obvious that they'll be having the lunch. So we need to provide for lunchroom, cafeteria where they can have coffee, then locker rooms where the employees can keep their valuables, then creches. So this is for the women labor. And then next we have the libraries, first aid and ambulance rooms, material handling facilities. So whenever there is a material to be handled, so what are the facilities we are providing? So what kind of heating facilities we have? If it is a cold country, then we should provide heating facilities, then ventilation, air conditioning, etc. So these are the various facilities which we need in a factory building. Then the next one is the design of the building. So what is the actual design of the building here? So how we should design a factory building? The first one is flexibility. Flexibility is one of the important considerations because the building is likely to become obsolete and provides greater operating efficiency even when processes and technology change. So we all know that every day we are having new technology, latest technology coming into the market. So the same is with the machines. So whatever machines we have purchased for the manufacture of the products, so it may soon get outdated. So within a span of 2 to 3 years, these machines get outdated. So as a result of which, we need to just design the factory building so that there will be more flexibility, so that there will be more room for new machinery. So the old machinery can be replaced with the new machinery. So the factory building should be in such a way that it provides greater flexibility for incorporation of the latest technology within the organization. It is necessary because it is not always feasible and economical to build a new plant every time a new firm is organized or the layout is changed. So with the help of new technology, you will have to change the layout. So every time you have to change the layout, you need not change the building. So building should be flexible enough to just overcome all the changes in the layout within the plant layout. So we should ensure that the building is more flexible with minor alterations. The building should be able to accommodate different types of operations. So with minor alterations, so minimum of alteration to the building, we should be able to accommodate the latest technology in the plant layout. Then second one is product and equipment. The type of product that is to be manufactured determines column spacing, type of floor, ceiling, heating and air conditioning. So the type of product that is to be manufactured. So what kind of product is being manufactured? So it will determine the column spacing. So column spacing means the pillars which we will be erecting for the factory building. So where you have to just erect the pillars for the factory building. Then type of floor. So what kind of flooring you need for the factory building. Then ceiling. So what kind of a ceiling you are having. Then heating and air conditioning. So this is essential. A product of temporary nature may call for a less expensive building, and that would be a product of more permanent nature. So it all depends on the type of product which is being produced in the plant layout. So if it is a temporary product, then we need not have a more expensive building. But if it is a product is of a permanent nature, then we need to have a building which is more strong and which will be able to withstand all the vagaries of the weather. Similarly, a heavy product demands a far more different building than a product which is light in weight. So depending on the nature of the product, if the product is very heavy, then we need a different building. But if the product is of a lightweight, then for that also we have a different design of the building. Then the next one, growth and expansion. So we should understand that any organization will have growth and expansion plans. So growth and expansion are natural to any manufacturing enterprises. They are the indicators of the prosperity of a business. So the following factors should be borne in mind if the future expansion of the concern is to be provided. So if the company has future expansion plans, if they have more growth plans, then what are the factors to be considered when you are designing the building? So the area of the land which is to be acquired should be large enough to provide for the future expansion needs of the firm and accommodate the current needs. So whenever you are designing the building, it all depends on the kind of area. What is the space you are having? So what is the measurement of the land which the management has? So the land acquired should be large enough. So it should be large enough to provide for the expansion plans of the organization. Then second one, the design of the building should be in a rectangular shape. So it facilitates expansion on any side. So if the building is in a rectangular shape, then you can add additions to the building so that it will not look odd. But if the building is of some other shape, then any extension may just damage the design of the building. If vertical expansion is expected, strong foundations, supporters and columns must be provided. So when we are having a vertical expansion, that is, if the management plans to have one more floor over the existing floor, then we should see that the building has strong foundations and supporting columns, etc. Then if horizontal expansion is expected, the side walls must be non-load bearing to provide easy removal. So suppose the management plans to have an horizontal expansion of the plant building. So that is in this way. So if they are planning to have a horizontal expansion of the building, then it is better to have the side walls with the non-load bearing so that the side walls can be easily removed and the room can be extended to the depending on the necessary. The next one, employee facilities and service area. So in the employee facilities and service area, they must find a proper place in the building design because they affect the moral comfort and productivity. So the building's design should be in such a way that it should be more comfortable to the employees. The building plan should include facilities for lunchrooms, cafeteria, water coolers, parking area and the like. So for the employees, we should have provision for lunchrooms, for cafeteria, parking area, etc. The provision of some of these facilities is a legal requirement. So the law says that wherever there are so many, more than number which is specified by law, if they are working in the organization, then there are certain facilities which are to be provided to the employees. Others make good working conditions possible, and a good working condition is good business. Service areas such as the tool room, the supervisor's office, the maintenance rooms, the receiving and dispatching stations, the stock room, facilities for scrap disposal should also be included in the building design. So So we need service areas. So what is the service area we need? We need the tool room. Tool room means it is the room where all the tools which are necessary for the production will be kept. So we need to have a proper tool room. Then the supervisor's office. So the supervisor will be supervising the work in the factory, and we need to have a provision for the supervisor's office. Then we need to have a maintenance room. So maintenance room will take care of all the electrical equipments and everything. Then receiving and dispatching stations. So receiving and dispatching stations means what are the materials which we will be receiving, and also the output, whatever comes out of the factory, we will be dispatching it outside. So for that we need a proper station. Then the stock room. So where there will be a stock of raw materials, where there will be a stock of finished goods. So for that we need to have a provision for the stock room. Facilities for scrap disposal. So whatever the waste comes out of the factory, the waste has to be disposed very well. So what are the facilities you are providing for the waste disposal should also be included in the building design. So whenever we are having a building design, all these things should be thought about when we are designing the factory building. Then next one is the types of building. The industrial buildings may be grouped under two types. So that in this we have the single story building and the multi-story building. So single story building means only one single story, that is only the ground floor will be there. So multi-story building means it will be in floors. So first floor, second floor, third floor, fourth floor. So multi-story means you will have more floors, whereas single story means only the ground floor will be there. The decision on choosing a suitable type for a particular firm depends on the manufacturing process and the area of land and the cost of the construction. So depending on the type of manufacturing, we will have to decide what kind of a building we need. Then first one is the single story building. So most of the industrial buildings manufacturing which are now designed and constructed are single storied, particularly where lands are available at reasonable rates. See, now we have observed that the government is giving lot of encouragement for setting up of factories. So where it creates lot of employment. So as a result of which the government makes land available for the industrialists. So where if the land is available in a cheap way, then the industries can go in for a large area of land. So wherein a single storied building will be sufficient. Single storied buildings offer several operating advantages. Now it offers certain operating advantages. The construction is preferable when material handling is difficult because the product is big or heavy. A natural lighting is desired. Heavy floor load share required, and frequent changes in layout are anticipated. So a single storied building is usually recommended where the product is very heavy and when you need proper lighting, etc. But then if you need to have a very lighter kind of a product, then you can go in for a multi-storied building. Then what are the advantages of a single story building? There is greater flexibility in layout and production routing. So when you have a single storied building, so you can have a spacious room wherein there will be flexibility in layout. So the layout can be planned very extensively, and also the routing of the materials can also be done extensively. Then the maintenance cost resulting from the vibration of machinery is reduced considerably because of the housing of the machinery on the ground. So in a single storied building, the machine will be in the ground floor itself. So you need not spend more on reducing the vibration of the building. So if it is the second or the third floor, then you will have to see that the building is very strong so that it will just tolerate the vibration which are created by the machinery. Expansion is easily ensured by the removal of walls. So if it is a single storied building, the expansion can be easily done by just by removing one of the walls. So you can just extend the factory building easily. The cost of transportation of materials is reduced because of the absence of material handling equipment between the floors. So the cost of transportation of the materials is reduced. So you can reduce the cost of material transportation because the absence of material handling equipment between the floors. So otherwise you will have to transfer the stock material from one floor to another. So for that again you need some material handling equipment. So this can be reduced if you can have all the machinery on the same floor. Then all the equipment on the same level, making for an easier and more effective layout, supervision and control. So if the layout is on the same floor and if everything, all the operations are carried on at the same floor, then supervision also becomes easy and control also becomes very, very easy. Then greater floor load bearing capacity for a heavy equipment is ensured. So when you are having a heavy equipment for the production, then that can be easily done in case of a single storied building. The danger of fire hazards is reduced because of the lateral spread of the building. So if it is only a single storied building, then the fire hazards can be reduced to a great extent because there will be lateral exits, so people can rush away from the building if there is fire. But if it is a multi-storied building and if there is a fire hazard, then the people on the top floor, they have to rush to the ground floor and in order to exit out of the building. So all these confusions can be avoided if it is a single storied building. Then next, what are the limitations here? So in this, the high cost of land, particularly in the city. So the high cost, the land cost will be very high, especially in the urban areas. The high cost of heating, ventilating and cleaning of windows. So we will need lot of windows, we need lot of heating and ventilation. So all this cleaning of all this will be heavy expenditure. Then high cost of transportation for moving men and materials to the factory, which is generally located far from the city. So if your industrial area is in far away from the city, then there will get a large area of land. So if you are having this, if you have to move the men and machines from the machine to the plant site, then again you need transportation material. So this will be adding to the expenditure of the organization. Then the next one is the multi-story building. So multi-story buildings, schools, colleges, shopping complexes and residences, and for service industries like software, BPO, etc. Multi-story structures are generally popular, particularly in the cities. So in a multi-story organization, multi-story buildings, so we have the schools, colleges, shopping malls, hospitals, etc. So they will all be housed in a multi-storied building. So they are useful in manufacture of light products when the acquisition of the land becomes difficult and expensive and when the floor load is less. So a multi-storied building is recommended where the land cost is very high. So you can have within a small space, you can have all the areas. So you can construct floors above the floors in order to see that you can get all the facilities in the same place. And it is usually for light products. So if there is a manufacture of light products or small products, then we can make use of this multi-story buildings. Then what are the advantages? When constructed for industrial use, multi-story buildings offer the following. So advantages are the maximum operating floor space per square feet of land. This is best suited in areas where land is very costly. So what are the advantages here? So in case of a multi-story building, we can get maximum floor space. So whatever the land is available, so if you can have it in the form of floors, then you can make use of the maximum space. Then lower cost of heating and ventilation. So since it is all housed in one floor above the other, the heating and lighting ventilation cost will be less. Then reduced cost of material handling, because the advantage of the use of gravity for the flow of materials. So the material handling cost can be reduced because we can make use of gravity. So whatever is produced in the higher floors can be easily sent to the floors which are below. So these are the advantages of having a multi-story building. Then what are the limitations? The following are the disadvantages of a multi-story building. Material handling becomes very complicated. A lot of time is wasted in moving them between the floors. So material handling becomes very complicated because we will have to make lot of time will be taken in order to see that materials move from one floor to another. Second one, a lot of floor space is wasted on elevators, stairways and fire escapes. So if you are having a multi-story building, then you need to have provision for elevators, staircases and also the fire escapes. So for that we need to have provisions. Then floor load bearing capacity is limited unless special construction is used, which is very expensive. So the load bearing capacity of the floor has to be thought of when we are just accommodating the machinery on the floors. Then we need to have a strong building in order to see that it will bear the weight of the heavy machines. So for that, construction becomes expensive. Then natural lighting is poor in the centers of the shop, particularly when the width of the building is somewhat great. So when usually the lighting will be poor when we are having a multi-storied building, the construction. So if the height of the floors is small or if the height is very less, then we cannot expect to have proper lighting of all the floors. So this becomes a problem. Then layout changes cannot be effected easily and quickly. Generally speaking, textile mills, food industries, detergent plants, chemical industries and software industries use these types of buildings. So these types of buildings, suppose we need to have an expansion of the building, so it becomes very difficult because we have to create one more floor about the existing structure. So usually this kind of a multi-storied building, it is used for textile mills. So if you are having a textile mill, we can make use of it. Then food industries, detergent plants, chemical industries, software industries, they use these types of buildings. So with this, we come to the end of this session. Hope you have all followed it. Thank you.